26 years.
21 years.
Awesome. Wow.
Somebody just roll
Okay, at this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. And I don't see anybody that wants to speak on something that's not on the agenda, so we'll go ahead and move on to business, increasing project scheduling, staffing. As y'all know, I've been away for a little while. Is there anything going on?
We are working. We're blading right now with all the water we received last week.
Okay.
that road again down there. Well, we got truck. We're like late.
Court to discuss and consider extending, continuing, or renewing the disaster declaration for Scurry County executed on March 16th, 2020 for a period of no more than 30 days pursuant to Texas Government Code 418.108.
Judge, I'd make a motion that we continue to extend. We don't want to leave money on the table that would cause our taxpayers to pay for something that they shouldn't have to.
I don't think we would leave money on the table as long as the governor has his state on board.
Just additional protection. They can't come back and say we didn't.
Well, that's true. But sooner or later, we're gonna have to let our community and our country and our state move forward.
I agree.
And that is my complaint. And I mean, I realize it's simply a piece of paper. I've said that before, that's all it is. But it's a piece of paper that has a little edge to it for some folks. So that's just me.
Okay. I'd just like to have our bases covered. I know that the state has the disaster declaration and feds have the disaster declaration. I just think it's that extra protection for us if anything major happens and we need it.
I just disagree.
Okay.
I still go back, but my grandkids is gonna have to pay for it. And I don't think that's right. I
Well,
don't think it's right, and I don't think it's smart, but that's just one man's opinion.
Okay. Thank you. So you made the motion, Terry, was that a motion?
Yes, sir.
Got a second?
I'll second. All in favor? Any nays? Thank you.
3-2.
All right, court to discuss and consider amendment to tax abatement agreement with Canyon Wind Farm.
We've been down this road before. They're still having difficulty getting parts, pieces, et cetera, due to the coronavirus. So the request was that we extend the start date 1 year. They expect construction to start now May of next year, 2021. It's finished roughly May of 2022. So the abatement would actually start January 2023. And they included a map. I think you have it in your packet. They decided to move phase one further east due to a little bit friendlier topography. And so that phase one that will now be the blue dots that you see. It may change the road use agreement a little bit once we get a little further down the road. They'll probably come back and ask that we change that to compensate for some of the new roads that they're going to be using. Other than that, it's not, no other change. So they're requesting, they're going to request that extension from all the other entities, but we just happen to be the first. And so if that's the motion and it passes, I ask the county judge to give the authority to execute that agreement.
And aren't they correcting an error of 200 megawatts to 240 in the new piece here? Is
I
that
don't know that it's an error. There were more turbines
more targets to be
in
put on?
the phase one. They were a little more spread out in that map. If you count, there's several more in that other phase one, but the topography is a little bit rougher. So I think they get phase one built quicker if they move it to the east where the topography is a little flatter. And so that was their explanation to me.
Yeah.
And
What more money?
those are their best guess estimates as well. And it may go up to as much as 260 in phase one.
That's great. The wind industry has brought millions of dollars into this county. And so I would make a motion that we allow Canyon Wind to do this amendment, and that we support them starting their project in 2021 of May.
All in favor? Abstaining.
Judges, just whenever you get that signed, if you'll sign multiple originals, we'll forward them to the wind farm and get multiple originals signed by everybody.
Can do.
You're just abstaining.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court to hear presentation and see a short 4-H intake video from the Ag Extension Office. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Good. I'm always happy to hear from 4-H. They are a fantastic crew.
Very good. I guess we'll just say that here unless y'all, I don't know where y'all really want.
Wherever
us,
y'all
but,
want.
We typically bring our 4-H officers in October to celebrate National 4-H Week. And this year just looks a little bit differently. So our officers have created a video, and we're trying to do more social media type things to educate on what our 4-H program does. So these kids came in at different times, and we have put this video together. And actually, one of the 4-H members produced it. He edited it. There were like over 200 clips, and he synced it all together in a 3-minute video. But from this video, you'll be able to see the impact on these kids within our program. Greg and I are working with the program. We have started this year. It's been a little slower start. We had our awards program up here on the courthouse lawn in August. And then we had a drive-through kickoff for the first time ever. We used North Park, and it was a little path all the way through the park. We were spread out all throughout the park with our volunteers and our officers, and families stayed in their car the whole time. So we thought it went very smoothly. We had a pretty good turnout, but that's how we kick off our year typically in Scurry County in our 4-H program. So that was well received. And then we had our first 4-H meeting in just last week, actually, last Tuesday. We started a brand new STEM project. So that's new in our county. So we're getting a different audience there and a different opportunity for the kids. We've got a new leader doing that. You want to talk about livestock, Greg?
Well, we just got through validating sheep and goats last weekend. We will validate all the pigs this month. We don't know where the county show is going to be yet because we're dealing with the college. There's a chance it will have to be at Colorado City, or that's plan B if something doesn't change where they can have more folks at the annex. So we'll just have to kind of see how that goes. And everything else is still strange, as you all well know, just like we're kind of going week by week as to what we got to do and how we got to do it, and trying to plan programs, which we hope we get to have a facility to utilize in the spring. But we'll see. Everything's rocking as normal as it can at this point, but we'll just see what happens after the first year and what everybody's rules and guidelines are at that point.
Awesome. That's good. And we had a discussion at their awards banquet about our memorial out here, having the kids redesign that with flowers and plants and stuff like that. And so, and then maybe doing something on Memorial Day to kind of do a presentation for our veterans. So I'm looking forward to everything that y'all do this year in 4-H.
We're excited. It looks different, but really, you know, the kids, this officer team of 9 kids set a theme. We've started that tradition the past couple of years. The theme was nothing good comes from comfort zones. So you're gonna see a different look and really a social media presence, and they're just doing different things. And we're thinking outside of the box, and we're excited. So we're excited to see. But I'll turn it over to them now. This is their video.
I am Scurry 4-H. I am Scurry 4-H.
I am very tiny.
Hi, I'm Captain Lyon. I'm currently serving as our club president.
Hey y'all, I'm Nancy Hale and I am your Scurry County 4-H First Vice President. Hi, I'm Abby Williams and I'm currently serving as the Second Vice President.
Hi, my name is Cooper Howell. I'm currently your second.
I'm Roger McCowan, and I'll be serving as treasurer this year.
Hey y'all, I'm Athena and this year I'll be serving as our Hi, my name is Lauren Calloway and I am the club board. Hi, it's Miss Campbell and I'm your junior president.
Hi, my name is Slade Campbell and I'm serving as sergeant.
4-H is family. 4-H is teamwork. 4-H is leadership.
4-H is learning experience.
4-H is preparing for life.
4-H means to be helping others.
Field challenge is my favorite 4-H project. Junior leader lab is my favorite activity.
My favorite 4-H project is shooting.
My favorite thing about 4-H is state roundup. I'm actively involved in food challenge, go, that's dazzle, educational presentation, and treasure hunt.
My top 5 4-H activities are shooting sports, poultry, sheep, educational presentation, and food challenge.
My favorite 4-H activity would have to be my beef project.
I participate in food nutrition, fashion, livestock judging, photography, consumer decision making, share the fun, and record book.
I'm involved in archery, consumer decision making, photography, share the fun, and pomology. I'm a state STEM ambassador and I'm a District 2 shooting sports professor.
Projects I'm involved in are food challenge and photography. I'm also the Healthy Texas Youth Ambassador. 4-H is needed in our community because it gives kids once in a lifetime opportunity. 4-H is needed in our communities because it allows us to give back.
4-H is important because it teaches respect for peers, adults, authorities, community, and country.
4-H is important in our community because it teaches kids life skills that they can use later on down the road, such as public speaking skills, communication skills, leadership, and most importantly, giving back to our community.
Without 4-H, I wouldn't have the skills without having it.
Without 4-H, I wouldn't have friendships I have.
Without 4-H, I wouldn't be able to work with others.
Without 4-H, I wouldn't have the leadership experiences I have now.
I couldn't imagine life without 4-H, only because of how much it's taught me.
The 4-H's stand for head, heart, hands, and health. I'm starting my 7th year as a 4-H. Including 12 weekends, I've been in 4-H for 6 years.
I've been in 4-H for 5 years.
I've been in 4-H for 9 years, including 11 weekends. This is my 8th year in 4-H.
I've been a member of Scurry County 4-H for 8 years now. So what are you waiting for? Come see what the largest youth organization is all about.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are. We are.
We are. We are.
We are
A part of Scurry County 4-H. Working together as
officers.
as members,
As leaders,
as the future of our communities,
Great city.
working with volunteers, adult leaders, and county agents. Striving to make the best better. Make the best better.
Make the best better.
Make the best better.
make the best better.
Make the best better.
Make the best better. Make the best better.
make the best better.
Very good.
That was very
Thank you all. Yeah,
Thank you.
y'all do a great job for Scurry County with these kids, and these kids do a great job too. Thank you and thank them as well.
We will. Thank y'all for letting us come in and talk about our program. Thank y'all for your support of our program. We're really proud of the kids. We're proud of our families and what they do. Greg mentioned a while ago that I didn't mention, but currently we have our one-day 4-H service project that's usually in October was changed because of the organization we were going to support had to change their plans. So we came up with another plan. And just yesterday and this week, we had families that made homemade meal items. And so for the health department, we wanted to honor them because we know what strain and stress they've been under since March. And they're just stretched really thin, and we wanted to honor them. So we chose the 7 health department employees, and our families made homemade meals for them. So yesterday we delivered 7 complete meals with an entree side dish, a bread, and a dessert. And then we also made homemade snacks and put in goodie bags and delivered. And the gratitude that they had was just really overwhelming. And so we chose to honor them. And then today, I can probably say this because nobody's in the room, because we haven't been to this organization yet, but we also put 64 goodie bags together with homemade snacks, puppy chow, trail mix, just all different kinds of snacks. And so those bags are going to be delivered to our law enforcement today, the police department, and Scurry County. And so we want to honor them through this time also and let them know that our community also supports them and what they are doing. And then we have one more that I will not announce yet, but we have one more plan in the works for today for a little bit of appreciation for another set of volunteers. So we get excited about giving back to our community, and the kids get a chance to see the value of, we don't just receive benefits, we share, and we want to make a difference in the communities we live in. So that's the purpose of the one-day 4-H project, but we do things all year to do that, to show the kids that that's important. So,
Thank you all so much.
but we thank y'all for your time today.
I bet the health department was very happy to see that.
It was very emotional. I will just say that. It was, it was very touching. So, and it's exciting. It's just, it's fun to give and show our support for those that help us. So,
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to consider, after something like that, that's so fantastic, it's hard to just go straight back to business, that it's just makes you feel good that the kids are doing so much for the community. We'll consider and appoint medical director. Well, we will consider and appoint medical director of emergency medical services for 2021. You have in your packet an agreement between Scurry County and medical director of medical and emergency medical services. That's been Dr. David Kerr. And I know Jason would love to be here and tell you how happy he is to work with Dr. Kerr, but he's not able to. But I know he is very pleased with the services that Dr. Kerr provides. And what I've seen, he is very involved with Scurry County EMS, and he does a fantastic job.
I'd make a motion that we continue the appointment of Dr. David Kerr with medical director of the emergency medical services for 2021.
So,
All in favor? I have one that's already signed.
It's attached, you signed it, it's attached.
Okay.
So I got it.
Court to discuss and consider reopening of the Armory and community centers. And Mr. Hester, you wanted to speak? What we're going to talk about is opening the armories.
Yeah, the Armory has served through the years as a good spot for us to have shows for crafts and that kind of thing. And we've missed 2 of those with the car show and the 4th of July. Those bring in people from not just around Snyder, but Scurry County and even as far away as Lubbock and Abilene to come and stay. Some of them participate. They stay in motels. They eat at restaurants. So that brings in a lot of sales tax dollars. And I know it's not been anybody's fault that we've had to close in the summertime. But we have about 6 of those different shows through the year. And we've only been able to have 2 so far. So our sales tax numbers from that is not generating a whole lot. They also have the opportunity to shop with our downtown merchants while they're here. So it's not just a specific group of people that we're targeting. I mean, it's everybody to do something here in Snyder. And I would really like to see us open up the Armory. We just had a show at the Coliseum last weekend, and things went well there. If it's, if things are to the point where we can open, I would like for us to be able to do that, because that's a money-making situation for Scurry County. And I would like to keep it that way. I would not like to see the Armory be taken away and not be able to be used for that, because I don't know if it's paying its way right now. But if you take away the sales tax that it's making, then it's not going to be able to produce anything. So my idea is, yes, we could, if we can open them, let's do, and if we can keep it where we can use it for events, then I'd like for us to do that too.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bishop, appreciate it. How did I know that the college requires social distancing and all of that at events, and I think it was 50% capacity that they require also. Is that accurate, or is it a different capacity?
They had a stipulation of 200 people.
Okay.
And we had to take temperatures every day. And so vendors, people who were there, and I don't think there was a problem with that. Trina Upshaw was the one that,
Okay.
There was a problem.
That's more my curiosity. That's not affecting my thoughts on it. I was just curious about that.
I didn't want to ask.
Yes, I
Okay.
was gonna say, they required no more than 200 people in the building, and that was vendors and shoppers. We kept an eye on that. I had them wear armbands so that I could keep a count on how many
Sure.
people were coming through. I wrote their temperature on their armbands, and I switched out colors each day so that I did know what was going through, and as long as it's controlled,
Sure.
I think it's doable.
Yeah. Now, the governor's order says 50% capacity.
Right.
Um,
So with that, looking at the Armory, how many people do you normally, and then just cut that in half,
Well,
but still be
yeah.
able to do it?
Were y'all in the main part of the Coliseum? on the
Yes,
bottom
sir.
floor? Our capacity for the Armory is 480, so we could have 240.
Exactly.
But
And I mean,
surprised.
as far as social distancing, I even put at least a half and sometimes a full booth
Mhm.
between my booths.
Right.
And it may be to where you may have to move some of the booths outside,
Sure.
but at least have something for our community.
No, I agree personally. I think we need to open back up. And this is something that I hadn't even thought about since we brought it up in March to close it, when we didn't know what COVID was doing and all. And there's been some other areas that have opened up. And it hadn't been brought up, and I hadn't thought about it personally. And of course, it'd be this court's decision on what would happen at this point.
Dan, this is what I've said all along.
Mhm.
Okay? So finally, somebody come and said it in court, what it's doing to this community. But we've all got this fear factor, right or wrong. I'm just proud. They came and said something, so I'll make a motion to open up the Armory and the community centers and the governor's orders.
Let me ask one more time, so I know I got it right.
Mhm.
You can get 200 folks in there legally.
240.
Yeah,
240.
50% capacity. Yeah.
I see no reason why we shouldn't.
And I completely agree, I explicitly agree with Commissioner Precinct 3, Sean McCowan. You know, this is the first time in American history that healthy people have been quarantined. Never saw face masks whenever we had flu epidemics. There are 150 studies, medical studies, peer-reviewed, which is astronomical in studies, showing that just one methodology of treatment, one doctor, over 1,700 patients, has treated with hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Z-Pak. Never, out of those 1,700, not one person did this doctor lose to death. Every one of them got well. That's just one, but 150 peer-reviewed studies, and I see on Facebook and Twitter and hear talk around town, there is no treatment. That's just not true. They just don't know about it. They're just not looking at the peer studies that are in published medical journals. And it's time that we get a hold of ourselves, from the governor on down, or from the governor up to the president. And our president has even tried to talk about this and gets slapped down every time. But it is absolutely time to relinquish our fear and understand that we don't need all these hospitalizations. We don't need to overrun our hospitals if we have this kind of peer-reviewed studies showing that this works. Because they're sending them home anyway until they become emergent. And so we've got to get back to life.
One thing I would like to do is challenge you guys, some of the stuff, such as the armory and stuff like that, that was shut down, go back and review that and see if more things can't be open. Under the governor's orders, of course, but, you know,
Such as what?
well, I mean, now we're doing the community centers and armory, and I'd have to go back and look at some of the other stuff. I know some of the parks were shut down, and I'm not sure if they're reopened. The playgrounds were shut down.
Those have been able to be used
Okay.
for a while
There ain't nothing else still shut down, is it?
now.
There ain't nothing else still shut down,
No,
is it?
not anything else that we, I think this was from last, and it just got forgotten about.
And I have nothing to do with the show in March, but I just am coming in support of my fellow vendors. You know, just,
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no reason to keep everything shut down.
That's my second, Judge.
That's your second. All right. I think we're ready to vote then. All in favor of opening the community centers in the Armory? Or, yeah, 5-0. All right.
I would like to know what your guidelines would be when we can tell the lady that's running the show,
Sure.
temperatures and masks and limited, we have no problem with that.
Sure. Yeah, just follow the guidelines that are out there, the CDC and state guidelines.
I think y'all rent the building and we would just say, y'all run it, y'all do it the way you want, because we're not gonna be the health police. So,
Yeah. It'll be on whoever's running the event to take care of all of that. So, do you know when that next event,
It's the first weekend in December.
First weekend? Just curious. Thank you. Okay,
this December, we're gonna have to.
we got one more. Court to discuss and consider designating the Armory as an annex of the courthouse for the court systems. Okay, so you know how we had the trial at the auditorium at the high school, and now have school going, so it makes it more difficult to have trials there. They've set up Judge Armstrong's court in the Armory, and it looks like it is just doing fantastic the way they've set it up. Do you have any thoughts on that, as how it's set up, Candy?
No, but it is set up correctly according to the standards that have
According to
been
the
set
state
forth.
standards, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, they,
6 foot social distancing, masks are required,
Right.
temperatures, yes.
yeah, so, it's an option that we own the building, and Judge Armstrong said he is willing to work around whatever needs to be worked around. So, he is looking at the trial first week of December, it would start on Tuesday. So, and then as far as tearing down and setting back up, he's wanting to use Orange Tree for that, so it doesn't budge the park employees or anything like that. And, potentially, I didn't put district court on here, I put it for the court system because, could be that, county court or even JP courts needed to have a trial over there, and we could use it as an annex for those, or I know, Judge Armstrong's gonna do some pre-trials, we could potentially do some pre-trials over there if we needed to. But that's a request that, Judge Armstrong is making, and I'm making that request as well to, use the Army as an annex for the courthouse, for the court system.
Judge, I make a motion, we make our armory next to the court system.
Second that.
All in favor? All right, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Greg, and I really appreciate that. All right, we'll talk about line item transfers and budget amendments.
We don't have any budget amendments, so we do have a few line item transfers.
Okay.
First one I'll do is the youth center.
Thank y'all for coming, we appreciate y'all coming.
Okay, this, he filled this out wrong. We cannot transfer general fund money to his memorial fund. So this one will be pulled and we will have to
Do
read
something
that.
differently. Well, while we're talking about that one, I drove by there today and it's looking fantastic.
Yes, he way overspent.
Did he?
Yes, he has no more money in his memorial fund. He actually overdrawn in the memorial fund.
Didn't know that, okay. It's a
That's
different
why he's
price.
trying to do that. But we had told him he needed to put it in one of his budget lines.
Right.
Move money from one of his budget lines to another budget line, probably 5710, to complete it. I do believe it probably needed to be done. It was, the building looked horrible before. And I think, we've had a lot of people who have donated in the past. We just had another $500 donation a couple weeks ago that y'all will be accepting, the regular session. So in part of the donations were specifically stated to help, reskin the building.
Okay.
So now it's reskinned and, or it's almost done or whatever, and it's looking a whole lot better.
Yeah.
It did cost more, but we've got years of neglect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
we will fix that budget or line on transfer for the next time.
Okay.
So this one for the
You see that pulled out as well. The Parks Department, other equipment, $12,000 from pool supplies to cover supplies bought for the not oil
Ball
fields. Ball fields. Golf course, I guess she's been straightening up some of her lines.
Yeah.
So, janitorial supplies, 119.37, tires, $272.28, postage, $20, operating supplies, $227.07. Maintenance, repair, and miscellaneous, she has this on there twice, $24.58.96 and $972.55, and ground supplies, $3,000. The majority out of lease and rentals, the other out of utilities, totaling $68.60.23, and it's the balance of budget. And I'm sure there will be more later.
Yeah.
And the final one is precinct 1, capital outlay, 5,000 plus for 62,000 out of fuel and oil, tire to machine hire, operating supplies, sinking drain, road material construction, and it's the lease paid for the maintainer.
We're gonna make a motion when we approve the line transfer.
All in favor? All right. Motion carried. Accounts payable.
$1,350,575.92.
Motion, we pay the bill.
All in favor? Consider a motion to adjourn.
That's much we adjourn.
Seconded. All in favor? All right, Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Jim, you're gonna be quicker with your seconds on the adjournment, so about third.